know, the first physical home media became available in the year 1912. Two companies, Edison and Pathé, released their very own film projectors for home use. Film prints were and remain very expensive, so they were mostly only available to rent unless you were like, I don't know, like a member of the Hearst family, probably. I'm trying to think of it like another big family. It doesn't matter. From there, we've gone through a number of different types of physical media. There was Super 16. There was Super 8, Betamax, VHS, Laserdisc, DVDs, Blu-rays, HD DVD. Currently, we have 4K, and I'll tell you what, it's all better than streaming. Welcome to Big Kid. We're talking DVDs, physical media, and the importance of it this week. Matt Elfring is back. Welcome back, Matt.
Hi, Chris.
Hey. And oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna do. You were directing me to go hey, so I went hey.
That was pretty good. It's like you've been on a podcast before. I first want to start out by apologizing for last week. There were plans for an episode. Okay, there were plans for an episode. I was also traveling to Las Vegas for Matt the fourth time this year.
Oh, I know.
Junket.
Here's why I know. You put out a video. My son and I were looking through YouTube, and my son goes, "Hey, Chris is on TV," and we watched it.
And that was honestly, that was the episode we released last week. It was a very short one, just saying like, you know what? Things happen, didn't get done. We'll be back next week. And look at that. We're back next week with one of my greatest friends on this earth, Matt Elfring. And also and I know he doesn't like this, the Alec Baldwin of Big Kid. Much like Alec Baldwin has hosted SNL 17 gajillion times. This is Matt. Matt, this is your fourth episode in 2 seasons.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the Alec Baldwin comparison
Okay.
because of current in the past year things that have happened.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar.
Rust? The movie he was shooting?
Like when stuff gets old?
No, the movie he was shooting where he
I know.
Yeah.
I was just gonna end
Call
with
me-
you saying
give me
the
John
Alec Baldwin
Goodman.
podcast, and then you brought. Ooh, look, everyone wants to be the John Goodman of Big Kid.
Yeah.
We'll see if you reach these heights.
I won't.
Before we did, my fingers are crossed, but you're probably right. Before we dig into this week's topic, do us a favor. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit like, click the little bell so you'll get notified when new episodes drop. If you're listening to this in audio format, subscribe on the platform you're listening to. Leave us a review. Leave us like a bunch of stars. I don't care how many, but at least 5. And honestly, just help us get the word out because, Matt, I'm hoping that this being your 4th time back means you're having fun.
Well, we're like best friends. I want to point out, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, I am very red because my hat is red and my face is normally a little red, but it's because I'm covering up something that I went to a dermatologist to get removed and it's not completely healed. And I'm a little self-conscious about it. So we're just going to deal with red. And I apologize for the red.
What's hilarious is I don't think anybody would have noticed if you hadn't pointed it out.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. You're a lovely boy.
Thank you. You're also a lovely boy.
You look delightful.
Thank you.
But yeah, so basically we're going to talk physical media because one of the first things I learned about you, Matt, is that you, like me, love physical media. And your collection is shocking. Honestly, it reminds me what mine would look like if around 2012 I hadn't been like, you know what, I think streaming is the way to go. I'm gonna get rid of all my DVDs. I regret it.
Wait.
I regret it immensely.
You got rid of all your DVDs?
Back in 2012, yeah, I sold them to a used record store.
Oh boy.
Now, to be fair, in the last that fasting of or jettisoning of physical media didn't last long. Since then, I've rebuilt a pretty good collection, none of which I have on display because I don't have room for it. This is literally, if you look over here, this is just the stuff I've gotten this week. And
I
yes,
miss those days. Oh,
yes, there are 2 copies of Gran Turismo, one 4K and one Blu-ray. I already promised it to someone. I'm so sorry. I promised someone the digital code. If you want the disc, I will send you the disc.
I'll take the disc.
I'm looking forward to watching it. I still buy a lot of Blu-rays. However, I also get a lot of them in the mail. Matt, I got to show you something I got recently that I love.
Okay, Mr. Bragger.
Paramount Scares Volume 1.
Oh, we got Smile on there. Probably A Quiet Place.
I can tell you.
Wait, is Wrong Turn on there? Is Wrong Turn on there?
I don't think so. Here,
because Wrong Turn.
I will say it came with this cool pin, which I love.
Oh, that's nice.
Paramount Scares Volume 1. It's a lot of 4K releases of things that have been released before. However, it also had a secret movie that wasn't known ahead of the release.
Okay.
Which is kind of dope. So the movies that we know are in it: Rosemary's Baby, 4K. Pet Cemetery, the OG Pet Cemetery, 4K.
Good.
Crawl, 4K.
Oh, that's a good one.
Smile, 4K. And that, the scariest movie of all, the secret film.
Yeah.
Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd in 4K.
That's a good
movie. No, it's terrible.
I hate musicals, but I like Sweeney Todd for some reason.
See, I love Sweeney Todd. I do not appreciate Tim Burton's take on Sweeney Todd. I feel like visually he did really well, but he butchered a lot of the music. And also Johnny Depp can't sing. Sweeney Todd has a good, deep, beautiful singing voice. And Johnny Depp doesn't have that. He just like, oh, Sweeney Todd.
I'm gonna Pirates of the Caribbean my way through this.
It honestly, at post Pirates of the Caribbean, it felt like Johnny Depp was like, what if I'm just kind of Jack Sparrow and everything?
That's just who I am now.
Just a little like a little more flowy movement and dumb voices.
Yeah.
But Matt, let's talk physical media. You and I are the same age. We grew up in the age of the VHS tape.
Yeah, we did.
Do you remember do you have early VHS memories? Like what are the ones you remember definitely having in your possession growing up that mattered?
That's tough. I mean, it was a lot of Disney stuff, which I don't know if it's still at my parents' house, but a lot of that old school, like very big plastic white Disney stuff, like the white casings, are worth a lot of money. Yeah, I don't remember a lot of VHS because back then, if you remember, like we all do, so rental places would get VHS tapes right away. But for public release, you couldn't get them till like a year later after the release in rental places, because the release in rental places, they cost like $100 a pop.
Yeah. Like I feel like that's something especially the younger generation doesn't know, because we're swimming in streaming services that are throwing movies at you.
Yes.
To buy a VHS tape in the 1980s would cost you like $175.
But that's upon first release. They would do a second wave release to retailers. You could still buy it for $100 if you wanted, but only through like the mail or something. When it got to retailers, it was like probably $20, $25 somewhere. Disney's were a little bit more expensive because Disney can do that.
Well, and Disney was a late adopter, because for the longest time, and honestly, this is all perfectly laid out in the book Disney War, which I highly recommend. For the longest time, the Disney Vault, which is a term that doesn't really get used anymore, but the Disney Vault was like a very real thing. Disney would release their animated films in theaters, then vault them for 7 years, and then release them in theaters again. It wasn't until they realized the stupid amount of money they could make by releasing Snow White and Cinderella and the like on VHS, which I would argue probably saved the company a lot of respect, because they were making tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars just by being like, look, you too can own Pinocchio.
Yeah.
And it killed the sort of Disney method of bringing movies back to theaters, because who's going to go see them in theaters if you already have it at home at that time?
Exactly.
But they made so much more money selling videotapes, and now like throw a rock and hit a Disney DVD release.
Exactly.
Like, I think I've gotten 3 or 4 different versions of Cinderella sent to me over the years, because they just keep releasing like, no, now it's even clearer. Now it's got a sing-along version that you can watch. Like, it's stuff like that.
And I remember, like, for me, I don't remember like the first VHS I have, but I do remember when they were releasing episodes, or maybe it's like 2 or 3 episodes of like X-Men or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at like Pizza Hut.
Yes.
You go into Pizza Hut for Book It, which is a whole other thing. And then
we got to do a Book It episode. Holy cow. I forgot about Book It. Oh my God.
But like the reward for Book It, which was like a program for elementary school children to read books more, which was great.
Yeah.
I liked reading back then before I became an editor and all I did was read.
Yeah. Now I listen to audiobooks.
Yes. Yeah. But if you read a lot of books, you get coupons for like personal pan pizzas at Pizza Hut, and you go into Pizza Hut and you could also buy a Ninja Turtles VHS for like, I think it was like $3 or $4. It was super cheap. And so I remember still having those and a couple Disney movies, and I still have, unfortunately, it was the re-release of the Star Wars trilogy. I believe it was after I have the before the added CGI garbage, and I have
so you have pre-special edition Star Wars,
pre-special edition and after special edition on VHS, but the pre one is updated audio, which for me, I really want the Laserdisc versions that were released, which were the original versions of the movie, pre-audio updates, pre-CGI. I want those to exist, and you can't get them, which is a bummer.
Unless you're like super rich.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how cool would it be to watch Star Wars the way it was released? I mean, I saw Return of the Jedi in the theaters, but I was young. I don't remember it. But how cool
I didn't see any Star Wars in theaters because my family wasn't movie people. I was a movie kid. Yeah. But yeah, that would be amazing. B, I also remember Burger King. The Burger King Kids Club had videotapes, but it was of cartoons about the characters in the Burger King Kids Club.
Yes.
So it was like The Adventures of Kid Vid or something along those lines, and I loved it.
Hey, I'm Wheels. What's up, Kid Vid? Like, those are the only two I remember. Kid Vid and Wheels.
And the girl. There was a girl.
There was a girl as well, yes. Red hair, I believe.
I think so, yeah. They honestly, I get them all mixed up with characters on the animated series Recess at this point, because they all look alike to me. The thrill of going to dinner and coming home with a new videotape was insane.
But it was
the highest high.
Mad because in most cases, you'd only have one VHS player in the house. And this was also before everyone had a TV. So there was a TV room, one VHS, and you'd have to find time to watch that. But your parents don't want to watch that.
Yeah, I want you all to imagine a time when there was one television and no internet per house.
Yeah.
That's what life was. You watched TV in the living room, or the family room, as they called it, because you hung out with your family and watched TGIF. Unless you were me and you watched TGIF alone because your mom had no patience for this Urkel character. And you would run. And also as a kid, you didn't have a ton of tapes. So you often ran the same ones over and over and over again. I ran the videotape copy of the making of Ninja Turtles Coming Out of Our Shells tour. Which was like a $5 Toys R Us special, or you could get it with you could get it packaged with the actual concert videotape.
Skipping stones.
Yes. But I was an early adopter, so I bought it when you could just get the making of. I watched it over and over and over again. Eventually got the actual show tape, watched that over and over and over again. And eventually, Matt, I found a tape that my father had brought home. And I know you think this is going to go somewhere dirty. It's not.
Oh, I know. I don't think it's going to go there.
VHS is how I was introduced to John Waters as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Crybaby.
Serial Mom.
Oh, Crybaby blew my mind because it was like this weird. And honestly, I think Crybaby sparked my love of musicals. Because like I didn't understand, like at that age, I didn't really understand the concept of musicals. And suddenly I'm watching one. It's about these cool greaser kids who are fighting the man, and like it's all very silly. I distinctly remember the scene that always stood out was when Crybaby's in jail. Wade Crybaby Walker is in jail, and he's singing, "Please, Mr. Jailman, let me free." And his girlfriend is also there, and all the women are like rubbing themselves all over the. Matt,
Wait,
you've seen Crybaby, right?
Hold on. I've never actually seen Crybaby, but isn't that Johnny Depp?
Yes.
So you've brought up Johnny Depp singing twice in this episode.
Wow. Already. I guess I have. I won't bring up his band, the Hollywood Vampires.
You don't
except for right there.
Here's something I wanted to point off, and this is a little off track, but I think it's important for that era for people to know. A lot of the VHS tapes I had were blanks, and I would record a movie or TV show onto that blank, and I'd rewatch that over and over because we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and that was the best way. Like Wonderful World of Disney on ABC. There was Jim Henson's Storytellers, I believe. I recorded all of that. And like that was how I connected with like physical media, was I'd make my own, like mixtapes. But that era's over.
And I will note, our copy of Crybaby was actually a duped copy that my dad got from one of his buddies.
Yeah.
Who had a duped copy that he got from there. Because also, like, tape trading has been a big thing in professional wrestling for a millennia. It was also a big thing outside of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Like people just would get copies of tapes and make dupes for their friends. They'd stack VCRs on top of each other. Or I remember going to a rich kid's house once, and he had the 2-tape deck.
Oh, wow.
That was specifically made for pirating films. Like that's why it existed.
There's this Mr. Show joke sketch. Well, it's a sketch and it's comedy, where they're talking about tape trading, and like this guy brings tapes to your dorm room, and he's like, "Hey guys, you want to watch this?" And they list off a bunch of fun. It's a very, very funny one. I'm not doing the justice it deserves, but I distinctly remember between 16 and probably 20, and DVD at this point had just kind of become a thing. But I remember doing tape trading with friends where you'd watch horrible things or TV shows that never aired. That's the first time I saw Heat Vision and Jack, was through tape trading with other people and being in this network of like, here's this weird like news footage we found of someone messing up, or like there's a tornado in the background.
Yeah.
And like you would tape trade through friends and all that to watch this stuff. Some of it, again, horrific that you should never see, but other was like pilots.
We all remember hearing about Faces of Death.
Oh, we had them all.
Half of that did. See, that's the thing. When growing up for me, all we ever did was hear about Faces of Death. I've never seen it. I've never seen a copy of it. I look for it when I go to conventions, because a lot of times there's always a bootleg video person there. That's how I bought the entire series of Freddy's Nightmares on horrible quality DVD last year. And I'll keep it forever. But like I as far as I was concerned, Faces of Death was like this myth that didn't actually exist until as an adult I found out like, oh, people just had tapes of horrible things, sometimes fake, sometimes not. That's why would someone want that in their life?
There's a shady element to the tape trading scene, which like I was essentially living in a punk house for a while, where like that's just what we did, was early internet, and we watched Faces of Death and stuff like that. A lot of Faces of Death stuff that I remember was obviously fake. However, the rest of the stuff on there is not much worse than what you already see on the news currently. So it wasn't currently. I mean, even in the past 10 years. Back then it was super taboo. You wouldn't see stuff like that. But now if you just watch the news, even pre what's going on now, you see the same thing. It's people getting shot or people getting run over, which you already see on the news.
Ugh.
It's awful. But like there was a time for curiosity as a young person. You want to see stuff like that. But anyway, my physical media collection is huge.
I also want to take one quick second to note, going back to Crybaby, Johnny Depp does not actually sing in that movie.
Okay.
He is lip syncing to an actual singer. I have a feeling someone will point that out. I want you guys to know I'm not some fake Crybaby fan. Okay.
I just want to point out that I'm not into Faces of Death. It was just something I watched as a late teen, early 20s while I drank PBR.
That sounds cool.
I'm not into that
Although
stuff.
we don't condone drinking in your late teens, guys.
I'm half Canadian. I'm fine with that. Drinking age is 19.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. All right. Okay.
Again, we were essentially in a punk house. It was a safe place to drink and hang out, and you'd spend the night there. I mean, we weren't doing anything dangerous aside from like early internet looking around and like watching movies. Like,
bro, early internet is terrifying.
Looking back, yes, it is, but a lot of it was like finding communities of like-minded people that liked punk music, and again, trading songs that you couldn't find anywhere else.
My first real exposure to like communicating online was in chat rooms, and the first one I found at the local library on a DOS-based computer. I had to surf the internet on a DOS computer, and Matt, it was the chat room on healthychoice.com. The frozen meal company had a chat room, and me and my buddy Kevin would go to the library because we didn't have the internet in our homes at that point, and we would just log into the Healthy Choice chat room. Never was anything remotely healthy choice ever discussed in this chat room. It was just people talking, and we thought that was cool. Like, oh, we think we're talking to someone from the other side of the planet. Honestly, probably not. That's fine.
Yeah, I sat in IRC chat rooms quite a bit, like, and learned from hackers and learned like a little bit of programming. Nothing malicious, but like you're essentially. I was learning coding at a very early age, like 17, 16.
I taught myself HTML at 16 years old, or 15 to 16, and I still remember it. So guess what? I don't remember algebra, but I remember HTML. So it turns out I don't need math in my life. Take that, teachers. So kids, if you're listening, when they tell you you're going to need this for the rest of your life, guess when the last time I had to find like the circumference of a circle was. Whenever I learned it in that class, and I don't remember how.
I still use the Pythagorean theorem like when doing like building structures. Like doing housework, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The triangle, right angle triangle. Yeah. I still use that.
Oh, good for you, man. I don't.
It comes in handy. Anyway, physical media, Chris, we are
this is why I have Nikki to do the math. Okay, so obviously VHS was just a big piece of the puzzle for us growing up. I remember getting our first account at the video rental store. It was 5-Star Video on Country Club Boulevard in Stockton, California. It's not there anymore. It was called 5-Star Video. All anybody ever referred to it as was Country Club Video because it was a video store on Country Club. And I bought so many things. I bought, like, you remember, Matt, when your parents would take you to the video store on like a Friday night and be like, you get to pick a tape.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of kids got the same tape over and over and over and over again. I always tried to get something different. And when I say different, I mean, I would get movies. I one time the tape I picked was the New Kids on the Block concert video, because I was like, I want to watch a concert, like a rock concert.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the only one they had. One time I rented the Vanilla Ice movie where he was on a motorcycle.
It's called Cool as Ice, by the way.
Cool as Ice.
I own it on VHS and DVD and a track version.
Oh God, I don't. I rented it because the cover looked cool. That was it. And I thought Vanilla Ice was really cool for a hot second.
Yeah, I mean, drop the zero and get with the hero. That's the line from the movie.
And one that will forever remain in my heart, and I think I've brought it up on the show before, Airborne, starring Shane McDermott, Seth Green, and Jack Black.
Jack Black is one of
Jack Black and Seth Green in their first roles, I'm pretty sure, and they're both hilarious.
It's a good movie. I like that movie.
Yeah, if you've ever wondered what a rollerblading movie set in Ohio starring a surfer kid from California is like, this is it, and it's wonderful. And there's like a really dope Jeremy Jordan soundtrack, who was a hot pop star at the time. It's a great film.
Yes.
I now own that on DVD, which I literally had to order from the Warner Brothers archive because they never released it on anything but VHS. But if you are a physical media nut and you like older movies, I think the Warner Brothers archive is still a thing. And basically they will print on demand for you. So you can order the movie and they'll just make you a copy of it and send it to you. And it comes in a case. It comes with the cover art. It comes with everything you need. It's just they don't make them in mass quantities because I'm the only idiot who wants a copy of Airborne.
I kind of want one.
Well, Matt, you should head on over to the Warner Archive, if that still exists.
Who knows?
It might have been eaten by the Warner Brothers serververse from Space Jam Legacy, for all I know.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so VHS. Yeah, do you have an all-time favorite VHS tape?
It might be Masters of the Universe, the Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella movie.
Oh, that's so good.
I bought it with my own money, my own allowance. The movie, if you separate Masters of the Universe, the movie, from the property, I think it's a decent movie. It's very, okay. I think it's a good fantasy adventure action movie. But because it's so tied to He-Man and what He-Man is, which is a mess of convoluted storyline and characters, it's literally, it's toy selling.
Yeah.
I like it, and I watched Masters of the Universe a lot. Again, Courtney Cox also in that.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
What a movie.
I'm assuming this might be speculation and assumption. Warwick Davis? I have to look it up now because
I genuinely don't remember. Yeah, while you look that up, I'm going to note that, yeah, I think Crybaby was my most rewatched tape. In terms of tapes, I like actual tapes that weren't dupes. Oh man. Besides, if I disqualify Coming Out of Our Shells for, I'm just a scary nerd who loves that sort of thing.
It was my second guess. It was going to be my second guess. It wasn't Warwick Davis. It was Billy Barty.
Oh.
So now I feel like a real jerk, because I just assumed that anyone.
To be fair, the 80s were the era of Warwick Davis.
But also Billy Barty. I mean, yeah.
It's okay, Matt.
Now I feel like a real jerk. Just assuming.
I think you're lovely.
Anyways, I've got a huge DVD collection.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I think I had two all-timers, Return to Oz. A movie I loved and still love. A movie that I think is better than Wizard of Oz. I'm sorry, film historians, if that makes me
really dark.
The enemy. It's so dark, and it's a Disney movie. Mm-hmm. Disney made a Return to Oz movie that includes electroshock therapy and so much trauma.
But I mean, that was during the era when Disney was trying to venture. Disney has always ventured into live action films, but during the mid to late 70s up until the mid 80s, they tried some dark stuff. Like There's Something Wicked This Way Comes, The Black Hole. I made a list about that GameSpot years ago, but they're legitimately good movies, and they're too dark for kids. So Disney kind of put the axe on that.
Yeah. And the other tape, I feel like I hovered around constantly because it was my Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. It was my Christmas movie. It's The Night They Saved Christmas, which was originally a TV movie starring Art Carney as Santa Claus. Wonderful. And it's about oil drilling in Alaska or in the North Pole. 100%. They're oil drilling up towards the North Pole, and they're using dynamite to look for oil. And what they don't realize is they're destroying North Pole City, where Santa Claus and all the elves live. So Santa kind of kidnaps the main guy's family and explains to them why you can't do this anymore. And they stop these greedy oil barons from blowing up North Pole City simply by finding them another spot to blow up that isn't near Santa's house.
Perfect.
The 80s. Let's see. Post VHS, we got into Laserdisc, which I'll be honest with you, I never had a Laserdisc player.
Same.
I only saw Laserdisc at school, and I was shocked by how big and shiny they were.
I know rich friends that had Laserdisc, but I never got to experience it. but it was just a big DVD. Although wasn't the
and you had to flip it halfway through or flip it to get to the bonus features.
Yes.
It was literally, it's like, what if a DVD and an LP had a baby?
Well, I mean, it's obviously like a compression issue where they didn't know how to compress a movie into something
100%.
This small at that point.
Yeah. They figured it out though, because DVDs came through like crazy. I remember the day I got my first DVD player.
Same.
Okay, I'll tell mine, then I want to hear yours.
Okay.
So in college, freshman year, I bagged out on classes for like 2 weeks to go be an extra in a Christina Ricci movie that was filming next door to my school, Pumpkin, in which Christina Ricci falls in love with a special Olympian of some sort. I don't know. It's ultimately a black comedy, and I was in love with Christina Ricci. I still am.
Of course.
But for the non-SAG extras they were using, instead of paying us money, they would feed us food and give us prizes.
Oh, what kind of prize did you get?
One of the prizes was a DVD player. I think it was a Philips DVD player, and I didn't win it. I won a 2-night stay at like a Hilton or some such nonsense, which was like great
for a kid. That's the price for a child.
No, Matt, I was 18.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I was a college freshman. You know, I had moved away to the big city of Azusa, California, about an hour outside of LA. But my buddy who lived across the hall won the DVD player, and he was super stoked. He bought a bunch of DVDs and he was over the top thrilled. And then he realized at a certain point that he didn't care about it so much. And he was like, "Hey man, do you want to buy my DVD player?" And I was like, "How much?" And he said $50. And I said, "Yeah." And it came with his DVD. So Matt, my first DVD, X-Men the movie.
Oh, wow.
First X-Men film. What a great first DVD, honestly.
That is a solid one.
And I had that DVD player for over a decade until it just stopped working. Yeah.
That's
surprising. I got like gaming consoles over time and whatnot, that like once I got the Xbox 360, obviously that had a DVD player in it. PS2 was a CD player, right?
PS2 could play DVDs, I believe.
Okay. Well then, yeah. So I had other DVD players starting with the PS2. But yeah, it was a trusty machine that brought me so many movies. What was your first?
So I, at this point in time, was not in college. I took a couple of years off to figure out what I wanted to do with my life.
Find
myself. And I was working full-time at a toy store. And I had enough money to go buy a DVD player, got a Sony DVD player. And if you know me personally, this is the most on-brand thing I could probably buy during that time period. I bought the DVD next Friday. Not the first Friday.
Ooh, no.
Next Friday. Because I hadn't seen it and I loved Friday so much.
So you bought Next Friday sight unseen?
Yeah. Because I loved the first one.
Impressive.
And back then, like, I loved smoking weed. I loved hip hop and rap. And like, I'm like, Ice Cube's in another movie. And, you know,
this isn't going to keep happening. I got to buy him while I can.
Who's this funny guy? Cat Williams? Or, you know, actually Cat Williams wasn't in that one. But, and I watched it over and over again. I think I bought Chasing Amy after that because I love and still love Kevin Smith, even if his movies aren't great.
I will say this about Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is the reason DVDs were good in the 90s.
Yeah.
If you bought any Kevin Smith release, it was loaded with extras. The audio commentary was never about the movie and always fire, because it'd be like, okay, so it's Kevin Smith, Ben Affleck, Jason Lee, and the producer Scott Mosier making goof 'em ups for an hour and a half instead of talking about the movie. I was like, that's great. Yeah.
Was it like Dogma was a 2 DVD release, and the second DVD was just special features. James
and the
Bob
packaging.
It was so
packaging
good.
for Dogma was so good. It looked like a Bible. I also still have it, which is good because, Matt, I don't know if you know this, Dogma DVDs are hard to come by and very expensive on the internet.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. So I will never get rid of that.
But that's the other thing. I'll just say it now because we haven't even gone into it. I think my DVD collection's around, and this includes Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K UHD. I think I'm around like 5,000, somewhere around that.
Oh, wow. I'm
But
not
in
but I
college,
love it.
like I filmed and edited wedding videos. What else? I was working at the weekend at a comic book store. I was doing odd jobs here and there, and I just had a lot of disposable income because my rent was $300 a month. So I would just buy DVDs, and I was meticulous about searching for rare DVDs, mainly movies from China and Japan you couldn't get in the States, Japanese horror and Chinese comedies. So like I got a bunch of Stephen Chow films you couldn't get into America, pre Kung Fu Hustle.
Now, question:
Yeah,
were those region coded, or did you have a region free DVD player?
I got them for our region somehow, and I'm pretty
Okay.
sure they were like, I'm pretty sure they were like broken and shady. I was getting them from a real distributor, but like it seemed a little. But like, how else am I going to see like uh the King of Comedy or God of Cookery or something? Like I forget the names of them, but like his movies were very, very funny, and like Japanese horror was so hard to get in the States at that time. Like you could get Ringu, you could get The Grudge, but like Audition you couldn't get, 2LDK, which is more of a 45-minute action sequence. But there was The Eye. The Eye was one I had to steal from Blockbuster because I couldn't get it in America. And the I sequels, which is the I2 and the I10. You couldn't get those in America. They were so hard to find. So I'd spend
Steal
all
them.
my time. I would stole the Eye from Blockbuster. Sorry, Blockbuster. I'm the reason you're out of business.
Did you get into the used VHS and DVD hustle at Blockbuster? Because I did hard.
Yeah, I did, because there's a lot of movies that I liked that you couldn't find at a Best Buy or a Circuit City.
Yeah.
And that's the only place you could really buy DVDs back then.
Mm-hmm.
Online shopping wasn't as big of a thing.
It really wasn't. However, I do remember at a certain point, I found a website, deepdiscountdvd.com.
We had a deep discount by us. So
oh, did you really? Oh, I bought so many DVDs from Deep Discount. Yeah. Holy cow. I would get big boxes in the mail, and my roommates in college be like, what did you order? I was like, 30 DVDs.
But that was the only place that had European horror, had Japanese and Chinese films, and eventually like Korean and Thai horror became a thing for me. But that's the only place you could get stuff from outside the United States, because Best Buy and Circuit City didn't care. So it was Deep Discount, or if you had a lot of money, Tower Records, because Tower Records would import that in anime.
Yep.
But you're paying like $40 a DVD.
Dude, so as an adult, I wanted to get back my copy of Return to Oz, which was like in a basically in one of those white Disney clamshells.
Yeah.
Because it was a Disney film and it was so out of print. And I went to a tower and they found it from a distributor somewhere else in the world.
Yeah.
And this was at the tail end of VHS. I still have that copy of it. Is it on the shelf behind me? Let me look. It is, Matt. Hang on. You're going to love this.
Okay.
I have my copies of Return to Oz and The Night They Saved Christmas on a shelf behind me. Oh, and Dogma. Oh my God, dude. Hold
on. You've just got everything right behind you.
I just grabbed a stack. Okay, so
here we go.
I have my original, my Return to Oz. So beautiful. This one is this one is actually the 1999 re-release. Look at how basic the tape is. There's no art. It just says Return to Oz.
But that's how most tapes were. Sometimes you'd get like the logo. Certain distributors would print them in different colors. Nickelodeon stuff was always orange.
Oh, I loved them too. I remember that. Because of that, I wanted Harriet the Spy, but I did not buy it.
Yeah.
I also have The Night They Saved Christmas. Look at this beautiful cover art.
Man, no one tried on that one.
No, the tagline is, "You're going to believe in Santa all over again." I got Batman Forever.
I had that one.
It's not sealed, it's opened, but I got it. And then I recently bought, this is funny. This is a DVD of Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, the worst version of Ninja Turtles.
Oh, the live action one.
Series. Yeah.
With Venus de Milo was the new turtle.
Venus de Milo, yeah. And of course, as we were discussing, the Dogma DVD.
But the slipcase isn't what you should care about. It's what's underneath the slipcase. Like, it's so pretty.
It's made to look like the Bible, essentially. Yeah. And then you open it up, and like again, this is go look at the YouTube version of this episode because you're going to see some very cool stuff. Oh wait. Oh yeah.
He jam-packed. Kevin Smith jam-packed everything in there.
Yeah, because if you pull, like, this is the thing we also don't get with streaming media, and it's inserts. Like, there's a little booklet with the story and how the movie was made, interviews with Kevin Smith, art from it, a Nails Cigarettes thing.
But he embraced the DVD so incredibly well and made it worth buying, not made it worth renting. He wanted you to buy it. And he would put behind the scenes stuff. He'd put in multiple commentaries. He put in blooper and gag reels. He put in like making of, like that's what drew me to DVD and eventually Blu-ray, not so much 4K UHD. A lot of that stuff's been dropped, but yeah,
this too, Hosties.
He dropped so much cool stuff like that. And like, you got to have it. And I was a film student at that time. So I got to like really learn so much about film through DVDs.
It's only vaguely embarrassing to say this now as an adult, but like my senior thesis in college was about the religion, like I went to, Matt, as you know, I went to a Christian university, Azusa Pacific University in California. And I literally, my senior thesis was the theology of Kevin Smith. And I used movies like Chasing Amy and Dogma to approach my views on modern Christianity and Catholicism. And I was like, they're not going to let me graduate. This isn't that kind of school. And but then they ended up really digging it, and I was fine with that. And it meant I got to read or watch Dogma a bunch. So that meant I got to watch the Golgothan a bunch. Hey. But the packaging was so good.
That's what you don't. I also had Clerks. Because they didn't release
the animated series.
Two of the episodes, or was it 3 of the episodes were never released on ABC?
There's only 6 episodes in full, and they didn't run 2 or 3 of them. No, 4 of the 6 episodes had never been seen before this release. Because the 2 they aired were out of order.
Yes, I think it was episode 4 first, and then episode 2 second. And episode 2 on its own is funny out of context. Because
the flashback episode?
It's the flashback episode. But once you watch it after you watch episode 1, they're just cutting back to the first episode constantly. It's even funnier in that context.
Oh, it's so good. And again, every episode has a Kevin Smith commentary on it. And that was gold at the time. Another commentary I loved, Face Off. Have you ever listened to the Face Off commentary?
I've never listened to the Face Off one.
So it's the writers and John Woo.
Okay.
Notoriously hilarious John Woo. And there are points where the writers are dissing the movie. They're like, remember the part where they put a microchip in his throat so he sounds like Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
The writers are literally like, yeah, we put the word microchip in as a placeholder and then forgot to change it. And if you put a microchip in someone's throat, it's not really going to do anything other than probably kill them because of infection. And they also talked to John. They talked directly to John. Who was like, John, at the time we all thought this was a pretty outlandish thing, switching faces. What do you think about it? He's like, oh, it seemed very realistic to me. Like, God bless you, John Woo.
My favorite commentary comes from Uwe Boll's House of the Dead, which is a game I loved and a movie I hated. But the commentary is pure gold because Uwe Boll the entire time is talking about how cool the movie is. He loves the movie. And I feel that's great. Like that he has so much passion for it, but he was talking about it in a way that he's like, this is better than Night of the Living Dead. It's better than Dawn of the Dead. It's the best zombie movie ever made. Look how great our zombies look. Look at this rotoscope around all the action stars and how their giant guns they hold. It is so cool and so amazing. And this is just one of the best action movies ever made. And if you disagree with that and you're a journalist or critic, I fight you in the ring. Like, and
that's, he boxed journalists who hated his movies.
And he beat the hell out of them.
He beat them. And you know what? That's what happens. Matt, real question.
Yeah.
Does Uwe Boll have a career without DVD?
No, because only a couple of his movies.
Who ever saw a Uwe Boll movie in a theater? Truly.
I saw House of the
which
Dead.
one?
House of the Dead.
You saw House of the Dead in theaters? I'm sorry. I wanted to see Postal, and then I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad.
It's a bad game. Why would you make a
terrible
movie?
game?
But he was
because it was an early to mid 90s buzzword.
Yeah, but like he was the one person consistently doing video game movies at that time. So like I could take I'm taking what I can get. That's where
but then the Resident Evil franchise hit, and you were like, this is my life now.
Well, until I understand what Resident Evil, it's Paul Anderson, correct? Or Paul W.S. Anderson.
Paul W.S. Anderson, yeah.
We want to separate the two of Paul Andersons because one makes more artistic movies and the other makes
action there's movies. Thomas, and then there's Wesley Steven.
Yes. So when the first movie came out, I was mad because it wasn't Resident Evil. But then when I got to the third one, I'm like, oh, I understand what this is. It's essentially Fast and the Furious. It's just action movies and
a billion%.
Yeah.
The first Resident Evil, which I now own that entire franchise on 4K. And I rewatched them all, and they're just banger good. Like it's so much fun. But it's 100%. It's as if someone read a Wikipedia page for Resident Evil and didn't take notes and then wrote the movie.
All right, Nemesis. Big guy. Put him in.
What if the Red Queen is a little British girl?
Yeah.
And then I love that movie. Oh my god. Okay, so DVD, like honestly, as important as VHS was to my childhood, I think DVD is probably like the biggest format for me because it was young adulthood into adulthood when I was out there buying my own stuff. Or look, I'm going to be real with you, Matt. I may have like towards the end of DVD. Remember when Blockbuster got into the Netflix type service where they were like Blockbuster on demand, where they would deliver DVDs to your house? Yeah. I have one of those thick boy CD binders stuffed with copies I made of Blockbuster DVDs. I still have it. It's in my closet, I think.
I was a 3 a day or 3 at a time Netflix subscriber when they first came out. Again, this is college, so I'd watch like all 3 in a day, or I'd watch one a day, and I would always have one coming in. I kept a few that I really liked, and they were actually Ken Burns documentaries because I couldn't find Ken Burns.
Did you keep a copy of Ken Burns Baseball?
No, I didn't like. I didn't care for baseball too much. I mean,
I love it.
God, what did I keep? You know what, Chris? Let me go check. Hold on. I know exactly where they are.
Hey, well, this is what I love. Like the fact that like we can still hold on to these weirdo pieces of media from when we were so much younger. Oh, here he comes. What do you got, Matt? What do you got? He's putting on his headphones. Okay. All right, what do you got, buddy?
Here we go.
Oh my god, they're still in the little slip envelopes.
Yes. Yeah. I only have 3. Let's oh man, I kept 2 really good ones. 3 really good ones. There's a 4th one I don't have here. So 1945 is The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Show them to the show. Let's see him.
Picture of Dorian Gray. Let's pull it out.
Love it.
Oh, it's so basic. Limited scratches.
Okay, cool.
Here we go, because I could not find it anywhere in stores. 1954's Rear Window.
Whoa.
Like a nice Alfred Hitchcock movie. And then 2008, because I was still subscribed to Netflix throughout then, Ong Bak 2.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, dude. I think the only Netflix DVD I ever kept was a 2 DVD. And it wasn't because I kept it on purpose. It was because I lost it. And then I found it like 12 years later. And that was Schindler's List. I was like, I was like, yeah. I was like, I need to rent this from Netflix and give it a go.
But like the Picture of Dorian Gray, which I was looking for forever, because it had such a limited release. I was like, I'm just going to keep this and say I lost it, because I know everyone does that. And Rear Window.
Well, and also that was a thing that Netflix was so good at early on. You could get stuff that you would not find anywhere.
Yes.
And just be like, send it to my house. And I'm like, okay, it'll be there day after tomorrow.
Yeah, and Rear Window was at that time only released in an Alfred Hitchcock collection, and I didn't want the collection. I just wanted Rear Window.
Why didn't you want the collection, Matt?
Because it was super expensive.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was like $200 or something like that. And I just wanted Rear Window. I mean, I eventually bought North by Northwest when it came out on Blu-ray, but you know.
Okay, well then let's jump into the sort of the next generation, which was the war. The Blu-ray versus HD DVD war.
Yeah.
I didn't pick a side until the war was over and HD DVD was dead. But in the moment, I genuinely thought HD DVD was going to be the winner because Sony owned Blu-ray.
Yes.
Basically, two of the exact same type of disc came out. It was the high definition version of a DVD. You could get it, and you can finally get movies in 1080p, is what I believe it maxed out at. And that was awesome. But there were two versions of it. There's Blu-ray, whose packaging was blue, and there's HD DVD, whose packaging was red. Yes. And Blu-ray was owned by Sony, and HD DVD, I believe, was not owned by any specific studio.
No, but Blu-ray you could play on PlayStations.
That's why, and I think that's why Blu-ray won when it was PS3, right?
PS3, but also HD, the other one, the red one, you could play on Xbox 360, but only if you had the attachment.
Yes, which you had to buy like the Sega CD like attachment because it was inside the Xbox 360 was just a standard DVD player.
Yes, and that's why I went to Blu-ray almost immediately because PS3 could play it without an attachment. Even though I didn't have a PS3, I only had an Xbox 360.
See, I stuck with DVD because I was like, I know whichever one I'm going to buy into is going to be the one that loses, and then I'm going to be stuck with all these discs I can't play.
Yeah.
So I waited until HD DVD was dead. But I was bummed because it weirded me out that like, wait, why does Sony get to own the new proprietary format?
It's kind of
that seems weird.
Yeah.
But since then, I now own hundreds of Blu-rays, so it's
I mean, I waited it out until like rare stuff. I mean, I bought a few Blu-rays here and there, but I really waited to go all in until more rare stuff started coming out when I could find like more wrestling videos. And wrestling videos was so far behind. They still put out wrestling DVDs. Like
Matt, we've talked about my favorite wrestling DVD on Wrestle Buddies.
We have.
Do you know what
I don't remember?
McMahon. The Vince McMahon documentary where Stephanie's like, my dad pitched me a storyline where it's revealed that we're sleeping together. And I was like, no. And then he's like, okay, but what if you're sleeping with Shane instead? And I was like, no.
Mine was the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, which I lost, but I watched it recently. It's not as harsh as it used to be when I first watched it, but it's very bad. It feels like a very cartoony takedown of the Ultimate Warrior, a guy who like there were very legitimate reasons to take him down that didn't need to be cartoony. No, the things they talk about with him in that DVD, again, it's propaganda. The things they talk about are not like, he was a jerk or like a little crazy.
He sucked and was a weirdo.
But like you're missing out on the racism and homophobia and just like hate that brute in that man.
I understand why WWE wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole, though.
Yeah, clean company,
especially since they embraced him again years later to get him into the Hall of Fame and whatnot.
But anyways, Blu-ray. I embraced it once the rare stuff started coming out.
And I'll be honest with you, I am largely disappointed with Blu-ray and 4K because of the pulling back of focusing on special features. Special features are the thing that made DVDs so cool. It's like suddenly you not only have the movie, you have the making of the movie, you have deleted scenes and alternate endings, you have just so much stuff, interviews with people involved in the movie, commentaries, all these things. And when you load up a DVD, you get this big, beautiful, hopefully menu screen that's like, do you want to watch the movie or do you want to look at the special features? And you'd go in, it's just like this treasure trove of stuff. Blu-ray, when you loaded a Blu-ray, it would start the movie. like it would on a VHS tape. And you would have to, especially if you're on like a PlayStation 3 watching a Blu-ray, figure out what of the many buttons you have to push on your PlayStation controller to actually get to a menu to find out what the special features are. I hated that.
Yeah, and the pulling back on commentary really bugged me. Not all movies did that. I will say that like the release of Popstar Never Stopping, whatever. I think that did Blu-ray justice, where like you got the audio commentary track, which was hilarious, and it was 2 hours of them talking about how they're not going to do audio commentary and they're not going to talk about the movie. It was very funny, but they also released.
That's the thing. If you're not like an auteur who is gonna like get deep into the art of film and cinema during your commentary, find a bit to have fun with, because it's just like watching a different movie. That's why we all loved Kevin Smith commentary so much, because like even if they weren't talking about the movie, I was being wildly entertained. And I also loved when the commentary was picture in picture, so you'd have a little picture in the bottom corner of the screen that's of them all sitting at a table just talking into microphones and making jokes with each other.
Exactly.
Another
thing I loved about the Popstar releases, you got behind the scenes, but they also did music videos for a lot of the songs that were not released on YouTube. So a song that was completely cut from the movie was released called F Off. And it's about,
which is my favorite song from the movie.
I've grown a bit. I move around a bit with that soundtrack, and Ibiza has become my favorite song.
Ibiza.
So I went to Spain and everybody pronounces their S's weird, and they say
it sounds like
the country's got a speech impediment. So I wrote a song about that. But it sounds like
it's a good song.
It sounds like a really good Enrique Iglesias song. But F Off is like a really funny song about you're a kid, not a teenager. You're a child. You're a child, and your parents don't agree with you, so you tell them to F off. I'm not going to say the full word because I'm keeping
and there's also some truly horrible language in that.
There is, yes, yeah.
So yeah, don't listen to it with your children or at all.
It's very very catchy.
But no, I mistakenly put it on while driving around my young godson one time, and he was like, "Huh?" And it was pretty funny.
That's the first soundtrack I bought on vinyl, was Popstar.
That is not, I have that on vinyl. It is not the first soundtrack.
Which vinyl do you have? Because it's a Mondo release.
Oh, I have the album with Karate Guy.
Oh, no. I mean, which cover do you have?
No, the album, it's the album cover of the album that had Karate Guy. I know because there's a Karate Guy insert inside of it.
Okay, do you have, so it's either regular Style Boys or it's Style Boys standing and looking at tall buildings?
Regular Style Boys.
Okay, because I got Thriller also.
You have standing in. Oh,
I got Connor for Real Thriller also because I found the cover so funny, and just the idea that like I'm making Thriller, but it's not Thriller 2, it's Thriller, also.
And it looks like he's smelling a fart on the cover.
It does. It's but like I want all 4 releases of that one so bad, but I just can't see myself pumping $40 per album when I already own one.
Yeah, and I honestly at this point I mostly listen to it on Spotify.
That's the difference. I listen to. I'm split. Half the time I'll just put in earbuds and I'll listen to songs, on Amazon Music usually, because if I buy a vinyl through Amazon, they'll give it to me as digital as well.
Yeah.
So like I've been listening to the Hives' new album, The Death of Randy Fitzsimmons. I think I've listened like 20 times, 3 times on vinyl, and then 17 times just on my phone.
I will say physical media does extend to music. Matt, do you remember your first cassette tape?
It's right above me. I'm not going to grab it because it's behind things, but it's the Super Bowl Shuffle by the Chicago Bears.
Perfect.
Mine is so on brand.
Mine is the Beach Boys' Endless Summer, a compilation of Beach Boys hits. I bought it with my own money. I bought it with my own money at Tower Records, and it was delightful.
See, the first one I bought with my own money, because the Super Bowl Shuffle was given to me by my parents during the Super Bowl. They got it for me. And I was like about to turn 4, so I don't really remember too much. But the first one I bought with my own money was Crisscross Totally Crossed Out. Again, we're very on brand for Matt Elfring right now.
Bro, I couldn't afford to buy a bunch of tapes, but I wanted my favorite music, and the gas station down the street from me sold bootlegs.
Yes.
Flat out bootlegs, and I didn't have money for those either. So he let me pump gas at the gas station in exchange for getting bootlegs. So that's how I got Vanilla Ice to the Extreme, MC Hammer, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him,
Yes.
and Criss Cross Totally Crossed Out, and all because we were the dumbest children, and that's what popular music was. Oh man, Play That Funky. Wasn't there a Play That Funky Music on Vanilla Ice's album?
On Vanilla Ice's, yeah, there was. There was a straight up like Vanilla Ice's album is bad, but not in a it's his fault way.
Yeah.
It's bad in a producer way. Because I love you. But I also all the time I'll sing the MC Hammer ballad too. It's like, I walk through the streets and I see that girl. I want to know what's wrong with her world. Have you seen her?
Have you seen her?
Have you seen her? I made up the verse for that. But it's such like a
But that's very close.
It's very close because Hammer can't ballad rap. Because ballad rap is bad. It's so bad. Boys to Men exists. Shut up. You know, like
I remember when I got Cooley High Harmony. What a fantastic album. That was one of my first CDs. My very first CD ever, though, was Crazy Sexy Cool by TLC.
I was a Columbia House or BMG member, so I never paid
I did that eventually. I did that eventually, yeah. 3
in one day. I got DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince home base. Nice. Weird Al Yankovic, the Jurassic Park one with the Jurassic Park thing. And then the third one I got was Beastie Boys Check Your Head. Again, the most on-brand child to adult Matt Elfring things you can get. Never paid for.
I think my favorite CD, which I actually traded my neighbor Kevin because he had it, but he wanted Cooley High Harmony. And I was like, I think I'm done with Cooley High Harmony. And also it'll be next door if I ever want to borrow it.
Yeah.
And that was the 2-disc Woodstock 94 compilation album.
That was
where it was
so
all
good.
Live cuts from Woodstock. It was Search and Destroy, I think, from Metallica. It like, oh my God, dude, the Cranberries were on there. Like every hot early 90s band played at Woodstock 94. And they all had cuts on the album. And there were little interstitials with band introductions by the celebrities who were there. And one of them was, do you remember? I don't remember this person's name, but like his whole thing is like he was in commercials and he was an old guy. Not the Six Flags old guy.
In commercials and an old guy.
Let me see Woodstock 94 CD. Let me see if I can actually find it. Okay, look. Oh wow, I can get the album used right now on Walmart for $5.
Are you talking like Milton Berle or something?
No. Hold on. It was come on. Woodstock 94.
This is riveting stuff.
9 Inch Nails. He introduced 9 Inch Nails. Oh my God. I can't. You know what? I can't find it, but I'm just gonna say eventually we'll figure it out and I'll let you know. But the thing that stands out most is the introduction was like, ladies and gentlemen, punch your balls off and welcome 9 Inch Nails.
That sounds like
something Calvert DeForest. Calvert DeForest was his name.
Calvert. Let me look at this guy up. This is so terrible for
Calvert DeForest reports he did
Letterman
shtick. And I just literally I typed in Calvert DeForest and it pops up Calvert DeForest reports live from Woodstock on David Letterman.
How wild is it to think, and this is a little off track, but that 9 Inch Nails, a band who I super loved, became him and Atticus Ross, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, because 9 Inch Nails was essentially Trent Reznor, and then eventually Atticus Ross came in. But not only
and an
Oscar
ever-evolving number of people
on the
touring band,
but like became Oscar winners and continuously release do soundtracks for movies that are haunting and amazing.
Yeah.
Have you
What
seen
was
The
the one
Killer yet?
they have you seen the what?
The Killer yet on Netflix?
No.
It was filmed partially in the town I live in. But it's David Fincher's new movie, and people there's been a few people who've called it David Fincher's worst movie, and I'm like, no, there's movies that are a lot worse. The Killer is kind of upper middle for me, for as far as David Fincher goes, but the soundtrack is like, I'm not gonna say it's Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's best, but it is super up there.
Do you know what else is their best though, Matt?
What?
Do you know what else they did this year that came out?
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
Nope. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the score for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
That's right. That
and
one
it's
was
a
so good.
Banger score, dude. It's so good. God, they're so talented. And it was Social Network. Social Network was the first one that kicked them off on this, right?
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. I'm not 100% without looking that up, but I'm pretty sure.
Hold on. Let me I'll look it up right now.
Completely off track, but like I'm so into like the fact that 9 Inch Nails, a band whose first DVD I bought was Further Downward Spiral. Not Downward Spiral, but the remixes of their songs. I bought it on my 8th grade field trip to Washington, D.C., where we snuck away and found a music store, and I went and bought a bunch of grunge records and industrial records.
Yeah. Okay. So his first work, Atticus and Trent's first work was The Social Network. They then did Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, Vision of Harmony. I don't know what that is. That. Patriots Day.
Haven't seen it.
Film. They did the music for Catherine Hardwicke's short film, The Black Giandola. Let's see, mid-90s, the Jonah Hill movie, Waves, an A24 picture. Let's see, together they did Soul, Mank, Bones and All, Empire of Light, Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, The Killers, and they have one next year, Challengers, from Luca Guadagnino.
Wait, they did Soul as in the Pixar movie?
Yeah.
The music in that is so good. I didn't know that was them, but like,
and that's them.
Soul is a movie that kind of disappointed me upon first watch because I thought it'd be more about jazz. But upon like rewatching, I'm like,
that's what I thought about La La Land, and I was right.
Oh, well, I didn't want to see La La Land because I didn't want Ryan Gosling explaining jazz to me for 2 hours.
It's 100% Ryan Gosling being like, I'm the only person that can save Black culture.
I don't want to watch another white savior movie.
Get out of my way, John Legend.
He pushes John Legend, famed, lovable musician John Legend.
It's very strange.
Anyways, physical media. I collect a lot of vinyl now, and
I also collect. What are your most recent vinyls? Are you still buying them?
Yes. So it was the Hive's newest album, The Death of Randy Fitzsimmons, and the new Queens of the Stone Age album, which I have not listened to yet. Ooh. But like for my birthday, my wife got me one of Tribe Called Quest albums. I have like all of them at this point, like on vinyl that you can get. I don't remember which one she got. I think she got me Low End Theory. Nice. I'm still looking, but not looking hard enough for Arrested Development's first mainstream release. She also got me Wu-Tang Enter the 36 Chambers, which my son wants to listen to so bad, but I'm like, I know you love Arrested Development and A Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul, but we're not at Wu-Tang yet. You need some years because there's a little bit more cussing.
Yeah.
Like Arrested Development, De La Soul is Arrested Development has a decent amount of cussing. De La Soul, decent amount of cussing here and there. It's scattered. Yeah. But like
Wu-Tang, it's pretty like
hard.
ODB ain't playing, bruh.
Yeah, luckily ODB isn't that featured on that album.
Yeah. But he's always the first person I think of when I think of Wu-Tang forever.
I go to Rekwan because I have a bunch of Rekwans like solo albums or RZA Jizza because like
RZA and Jizza, yeah,
RZA does so much soundtrack work as well that like
I will say, Matt, your most recent purchases and my most recent purchases are not alike at all. My two most recent ones are 1989 Taylor's version, of course, and the new Olivia Rodrigo record Guts, which I really enjoy. I've also bought some soundtracks and stuff like that.
Yeah. I have to walk back. Technically, my most recent vinyl purchase is Miley Cyrus and Endless Summer. It was for my wife's birthday. I
Okay.
enjoy
That's
I
nice.
enjoy Miley Cyrus. I think she's a really talented musician.
She's a very talented and a wildly talented vocalist.
Completely eclipsing her father in every way possible. But like I wouldn't buy her album. But my wife loves Miley Cyrus and loves Dolly Parton. So, and those two kind of go together, like they're buddies or whatever. So I always try to get my wife like a Miley Cyrus or Dolly Parton album that she doesn't have.
Also, if you haven't heard Miley Cyrus's cover of Jolene, Fix Your Life, it is
so good. She did was that in Tiny Music or Tiny Desk Music? She did that for NPR.
I just know that I believe she recorded a version of it like live in her backyard.
Yes. Yeah, there's the
I don't remember
Disney
what
backyard one. It's recorded on one of her albums too, but there's also, I believe she did it during like Tiny Desk Music. And it's like every version of that she's so incredibly talented. Not my type of music personally. I like the partier stuff, like bangers I kind of like, but not my type of music overall, but like I fully appreciate everything she does. And like that's why I'll keep supporting and buying physical albums, hoping that she's getting this money.
Buy physical albums, buy physical media.
Yep.
Currently, I love 4Ks. I like anytime there's a 4K sale going on, I have to look to see like, oh, what can I fill my collection with? Because honestly, I love physical media. I think I'm past the point of spending like $40 on a disc.
Yeah, that's too much.
It's just a lot. And like, I've gotten to a place in my life where I just want to collect the stuff that I love. Like, and I know if you look behind me right now, it looks like chaos.
Yeah.
But this is all stuff that I love. And granted, I do end up getting a lot of newer things in the mail and also older things. Matt, this is a 4K copy of Jamie Lee Curtis's Blue Steel, a Catherine Bigelow film.
I have never heard of that nor seen it.
I saw it once a long time ago. She plays a rookie cop. And the tagline is a rookie cop, a demented killer, a point blank thriller.
I'm seeing if I have anything available to grab. I just have like a box full of Super Nintendo, Sega games, and NES games.
Oh, and
anything else around me?
Saw X, baby.
I
love the Saw movies. Also got the new Mission Impossible. These are all things where like my whole process is I get these and then I install the digital codes and then I add them to the shelf.
Yeah,
I like grabbing stuff off the shelf.
My last Blu-ray purchase was All In, the wrestling event that I was at. I was at All In, that wrestling event that eventually became AEW, but I had never watched it. I still haven't opened it up yet, but like I've never watched All In, aside from being there live.
Aside from watching it with your eyeballs.
So like I'll get to remember things like that have been cut from the DVD release, rightfully so. But like I want to hear the commentary. I want to hear what the people were saying. Like I want the at-home experience as well. But that's kind of what I want from, because here's the thing that we haven't discussed that could be discussed as a whole episode. Streaming services will cut things and move things and make them never available again. We saw this happen with HBO Max because David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, is a monster, and like a real monster, like cutting movies that have already been finished to get a tax write-off. Like that's a monster. But he's constantly cutting movies from the service.
I would like to note that the comments of Matt Elfring do not represent Big Kid or me in any way whatsoever, but I understand what he's saying.
They fully represent me because I covered streaming services for so long, and I've been watching the downfall of what's happening with the Warner Brothers Discovery merger and what's been happening to Max.
And the key to this all is like the streaming services were billed as sort of the solution. This is how you're going to have access to every movie, except if you don't have it, it can be taken away from you at any time. And that I would argue that goes for digital. Yes. Even with digital copies, you don't own that digital copy. That company can easily go out of business and your movie will go away.
Or you could put everything on an old school iPod like I have in my drawer back there. And I just have my music whenever. I still have the CDs, but the old school iPod that's the way to go. It still works with iTunes.
My iPod died, and I keep telling myself one day I'll get a new old iPod, and I haven't yet. I do want to note as we start winding down the episode, if you leave a review, the first person who's not Matt, and Nikki, if you're listening, not you, because you already have access to this. First person to leave a review on the podcast on Apple Podcasts, I'm going to send you a digital code. Let's
but how are you going to connect with that person?
What you need to do, you leave your review, take a screenshot of that review, and tweet it at Big Kid Pod.
A screenshot it via before DM you hit submit. A screenshot before you hit submit, so you know it's them.
So I know it's you. Before you hit submit, just take a quick screenshot, send it my way, and what you'll get is a 4K copy digitally of Cinderella.
Oh,
an iconic Disney film that I love. And you know what? If that goes well, maybe I'll have some other codes to give away in the times that come. We'll see.
But anyway, I mean, physical media, you own it. I mean, you technically don't own the movies. The studios technically own the movies, but they're not going to come to your house.
Copy of it. Yeah, they're not going to come to your house and sue you for watching a DVD.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, owning physical movies of movies you truly, truly love, not me in the mid 2000s buying everything because I had money.
Like when I bought Conspiracy Theory starring Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts.
Oh, you're not the only one. I too own that.
Also, I remember at a certain point, Blockbuster started jettisoning all the posters they would get. And I had so many movie posters, including a giant Conspiracy Theory poster on my freshman dorm room wall. And I actually seeked this out via the Electronic Bay, the European Almost Famous poster, which is just a picture of Kate Winslet in her underwear sitting on a bed. And it says Almost Famous on it.
I still need the European version of Demolition Man, which is one of my favorite movies. I don't have and the European version, aside from Taco Bell being Pizza Hut, also has the whole thing with like John Spartan's actual daughter working for the underground beside next to Dennis Leary's character, who is just Dennis Leary.
That is not how it works.
It is.
Actually, it turns out Sandra Bullock is his daughter, and
Huxley is not his daughter. We've had this discussion a million times. She is way too young.
Hey, Matt, let's save it for another episode of the pod, because I think we could go on about this for a while. And honestly, Demolition Man deserves an episode.
It does.
So yeah, we'll wrap it up. Matt, thank you for being here. What would you like to point people at?
Hi, I'm Matt Elfring. I have a Substack. I'm mattelfring.substack.com. It's Matt with one T and Elf-Ring. Don't put the dash in. It's Elfring is how you spell my name.
Ring.
Lord of the Rings ring, and then Elf is a playable character in D&D. I have a Substack.
Basically, look in the description of either this video or this podcast episode, and I will link out to it.
It's right there. It says, if you're in YouTube, right here, it says Metal Frame, which is a funny nickname that no one calls me. And then in parentheses, Matt Elfring. And then if you go
under it. Yep. You're there. Right, you got it.
Substack. I do some writing for me on there. They have paid subscribers now, which feels weird, but thank you. But I also put a podcast out called I Just Want to Talk to Friends, which is me dealing with, continually dealing with trauma and grief of being let go this past year and trying to find work. But I'm also just talking to friends. Upcoming episodes, which I still have to edit today's episode and haven't. I probably put it out tomorrow. Who cares? I talked to Joey Esposito, who worked at IGN. That's when we first met as a comic books writer. When I worked at Comic Vine, he worked at Viacom for a while, and we were still talking. And he's a writer at DC Comics. So we're kind of talking about work and stuff. He recently got let go. And then the next 2 episodes after that, I am talking with Knowledge Fights Jordan Holmes. It's a huge podcast that makes fun of Alex Jones. And Jordan and I just kind of talk about stand-up comedy. And I'm splitting it into 2 episodes. And then I have 2 other episodes that I'm working on right now. One with a game designer and one with a wrestler who Chris knows because I told him this morning. By the way, Chris, the person I told you that I want to have on the show said yes immediately, which is weird. A wrestler I have talked to 4 or 5 times is like, hell yes, I'll be on your show.
Perfect. And you're also working on a sort of commentary episode where we're going to watch and talk about the movie Blank Check.
Yes, with a wrestler who has not gotten back to me yet. I should probably email him today.
Yeah.
But it's a wrestler that has appeared numerous times on a show that Chris and I ran together, and one time on a I Just Want to Talk to Friends. That you can figure that out on your own. Subscribe on iTunes and rate it. And I'll have Chris send you a 4K copy of something.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, come on down. No, actually, I think I have extra copies of things. So actually, you know what? I'm going to hold on Cinderella. If you leave a review and screenshot it and send it to me, or actually you'll get a choice. You can either have a free digital copy of Cinderella or a digital copy of Wreck-It Ralph 2: Ralph Breaks the Internet. How about that? I love Wreck-It Ralph. I love both of those movies.
They're great movies. If you rate and review I Just Want to Talk to Friends podcast on iTunes Podcasts or Apple Podcasts, Chris is going to send you a digital copy of Saw X. Or,
that's mine.
Not Saw X. Of Mission Impossible, whatever it's called.
Dead Reckoning Part 1. No, that's mine. Sorry.
Okay. Send you a digital copy of.
Here. Maybe this will help.
Let's look.
Let me just do this. Does this help?
Okay, that helps. He will send you a digital copy of The Boys season 1.
Oh, actually, Matt, I don't know how to break it to you. This is season 3, and since it's a streaming show, it does not come with a digital copy.
He will send you. Let's do this again. A digital copy of Blue Steel.
Nope. Matt, you can't have any of these.
A digital copy of The Haunting in Venice.
Maybe.
Or
probably
Scrooged.
Not. Hell no. Scrooged is mine.
Chris will send you a digital copy.
Matt, why am I sending someone something
in Venice? I don't get free movies anymore.
I mean, you would if you wrote about them on your Substack. Get yourself back on them lists.
Do they do that?
I don't know. Probably.
They don't, by the way.
No. Legit.
I tried with Paramount
do you know,
already.
Matt, do you know that Disney Legacy set they released? It's like $1,500.
Yeah.
They sent me all 100 digital codes. And I have to put them in one by one.
If you want to give any of them to me, just let me know.
All right. To give away to your readers or for you to keep?
No, for me.
Oh. Yeah, let me see what I got left over. Because I already have a bunch of these is the thing.
If there's any dark live action stuff, or is it only animated?
I think it's only animated, but Black Cauldron is in here, and that's pretty dark.
Let me off the air. Let me know what you haven't used and get me.
I will.
Okay, yeah.
Except Cinderella or Ralph Breaks the Internet, because those are going to the first person to leave a review, a 5-star review, mind you, on the Big Kid Podcast. And again, screenshot it, send it to me. Let's go.
What a weird way to end the show with, hey, we're giving away free stuff. Also, Matt's gonna beg Chris for free stuff.
Yeah. I 100% expect you to go leave a review on the podcast and tweet it.
I think I rated it, but I never wrote a review.
Wow.
I felt that would have been hypocritical because I've already been on this show. This is my 4th time.
Yeah, it's true.
I feel like there's a lot of bias because I like talking to you.
Well, I like talking to you, so I'll probably have you back again soon.
And by that time, I may be able to announce what the name of the podcast is that I'm producing. I'm not on the podcast. I am getting paid to be a producer.
That's so cool. Congrats.
All I do is background work and tell people all right, we're directing it this way. We're moving it. It is such a cool new gig. Not full time, but that's okay.
I love it. All right. That is going to wrap us up for this week. You can find us on all the socials at Big Kid Pod. I'm at Chris Hayner. He's at I'm Matt Elfring. It's below our names on screen right now. You can't see that. Just look below in the description of the pod. Next week is Thanksgiving week. Something I only learned about yesterday. I thought Thanksgiving was still 3 weeks away. I'm wrong. We are going to have, I'm doing a bit of a special concept-y episode. And Matt, you're actually going to appear on it. I told you we're going to record it after this episode today.
Yes, you did.
But we're probably going to do it a little bit later because I have a lot of stuff I need to go do. But you're not going to, unless you want to be on for the full episode, I'm not going to make it come on.
I'm not doing the full episode. There's no way.
And
yeah.
It's basically next week is Thanksgiving. So I'm going to do a Thanksgiving dish power ranking, and we're going to decide what is the best and worst Thanksgiving dish. So get ready for me to yell about how perfect stuffing is. Basically, I love stuffing. I don't know if it's number one, but I love stuffing. But there's a lot of really good Thanksgiving dishes, and we're just going to talk about the best and worst ones. So we'll see you back next week. Again, Matt, thank you. And as always, DVDs are better than streaming. That's not a thing for this show, but that is just a life rule. Bye, everybody.
Don't forget to hit it when the time comes. Hey, Z-Rock 105. All right, we're here back at the hour. We're talking about the morning commute. Oh boy, that morning commute's going to be a rough one. But make sure you stop by the UP Annual Festival Slow Ride, featuring leftover members of Foghat playing Slow Ride for 3 hours.
Take it easy.
Z105 coming up next is Photographed by Nickelback.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How's the traffic doing?
Oh, let's check out the traffic. Oh, wait. Route 19, there's a flipped over semi truck, and oh boy, it's causing some commotion. Everybody's safe though. Don't worry about that truck driver, the people stuck in traffic. They're trying to re-navigate everybody over on the County Farm Road, and it's a bit of a mess. So just be patient and make sure that you just have that patience to get around and get to your work. Also, again, everyone's safe. No one got hurt. So at least we have that to be thankful for. Here's an ad from our sponsor, Trucks. Get one.
Oh.
All right, I'm on.
Wow. Matt,
right.
Do you know what's funny?
What's that?
Well, let me talk to you about weather on the 10s. Today in Brandon, Florida, it's a high of 79, a low of 66. And let me tell you, it's Florida. So, baby, it's gonna rain. But that's okay because it is finally milding out in Florida. The heat and the humidity dissipates. The wind shows up. Expect more rain, expect more clouds, but expect lower temperatures to come as we get into your Thanksgiving holiday. That's it. This is all going at the end of the podcast.
It's fine. I'm doing some good dance moves.
You really are. It's going to look great on YouTube. This is what's going to get us the hits. Going to get us the views.
Get them hits.
The thumbnail's just going to be sexy Matt dancing. Oh, by the way, in case I decide to do this for the thumbnail, just pose for the camera real quick. Also, keep posing.
Oh.
Okay.
There, I did the YouTube pose that I hate.
Yeah, it's really
I'm
good.
shocked at things.
Oh no. Okay. I'm just going to start and then we'll start talking.